going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football. Hey, sportscaster and YouTube. Lawrence Owen here, Colts Law, getting ready to go over a couple free agent signings that I just kind of glossed over as of late, and I would like to get a little bit more in depth before I drop my film rooms on both these guys. Now, I've already done some studying on both of these free agent signings. Josh, USN, thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate you being here. The Colts, right after they got DeForest Buckner, picked up another defensive tackle from the Niners, Sheldon Day. And just, day before yesterday, they picked up cornerback T.J. Carrie from the Cleveland Browns. Now, what are these guys' roles going to be for the Indianapolis Colts? What kind of signings are they? Well, that's what I'm going to go over. All right. First off, Sheldon Day. Oh my! I went over his tapes. I'm getting ready to do a breakdown for him, just in a couple days. I've already got all the stuff for it. I got to break it down myself. I like Day as a signing. Okay, Sheldon Day is kind of like Danico Autry, only younger. He's 26, right? Very good against the run. He plays mostly your 3-tech, your nose tackle positions as well. Mostly at the nose tackle. Every once in a while you'll see him flip over to the 3-tech. He's good against the run. He demands a double team. He's smaller. He's not as tall as DeForest Buckner. He's like 6'1", 6'2", pushing right around 290. Doesn't quite have the burst and the size that DeForest Buckner has, but has got a great power move. They call me Lily. Thanks for joining the stream. Kimmy, thanks for joining the stream here on Sportscaster. I appreciate you guys both being here. These are really good people that they've signed. Now, when I went over Sheldon Day's film, like I said, he's really, really good against the run. He does not get moved around a lot. When he anchors himself, knowing that it is a run play that he's getting ready to go up against, he's able to anchor himself and keep himself in the position that he needs to be. He doesn't get pushed around very much. Even when double teamed by centers and guards together, he does not get moved as much. He's able to anchor and hold himself there, which is a huge benefit for linebackers behind him. Okay, and of course, whoever's beside him, whether it's another defensive tackle or defensive end or whatever. Very, very beneficial to players around him. He's more of a guy who helps the players around him more than makes the big plays himself. Not to say he can't make big plays on his own. Like I said, the guy's got the strength to be able to make tackles one-armed. Okay? He showed a lot of that. He's able to kind of maneuver himself through that line in order to get to a running back when needed. He does have a little bit of pass rush ability. He's had a few sacks over his 4 years with the San Francisco 49ers. And he can do a few things that a lot of players on the Colts can't do. I think he's going to be a backup. I think that he'll probably be the backup nose tackle right now. He probably kind of spell that nose tackle position when needed. I think that he may come in for DeForest Buckner occasionally, but I think we have better, more promising, younger defensive tackles right now on the Indianapolis Colts. So He's more of a nose tackle. Now, let's say you have some injuries at the 3 tech. He can definitely step in and be that guy that can really make something happen if needed. Now, moving on to T.J. Carrie. T.J. Carrie is an interesting person. He's been with the Browns. He was released last Monday by Cleveland. He was on a 4-year deal, which was signed back in 2018. It was more of a cap hit casualty, really, saving the Browns about $6.5 million this year in cap space. He played all 32 games, and 14 of those games in the last 2 years he started. He had 125 tackles in 2 seasons, which is really good for a cornerback. 12 passes defense, 3 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries, and 2 sacks. What this kid does really well, he does 2 things very, very, very well, okay? One, he is a downhill tackler. When it comes to defending the run, he diagnoses a run play and comes downhill, avoiding blocks from wide receivers and tight ends incredibly well, and makes a tackle at or behind the line of scrimmage very, very quickly. He's able to chase down running backs very well, and he tackles low. Those of you who are Colts fans remember guys like Bob Sanders, who would like to dive down low around the hips and the hip knee area. Dive and tackle low, take them out low below the hips. This is what Carrie does in the run game, and he does it very effectively. At the cornerback position, nonetheless, not safety. So I really like that aspect about T.J. Carrie. Another thing that I noticed is a lot of people say, well, he's a zone man, and he doesn't do man well. From the film that I watched, it's opposite. He played 80% zone, but it was all soft zone. And when he played man most of the time, they had him in a soft man where he was like 10 yards off the wide receiver. When he played man press, bump and run coverage, he was able to stick with his receivers pretty darn well. That's why I think that Carrie will probably end up being in this Colts scheme, because there's a lot of zone in the scheme. Granted, last year they played a lot more man coverage, but in this scheme, I think he might end up being more of a backup to Kenny Moore at the nickel position, to spell Kenny Moore more. Because I don't see him taking over the number 1 or the number 2 cornerback slots, even though he was the number 2 corner for the Cleveland Browns last season. I think that what he does really well in a zone is he can sit back and watch the quarterback and make breaks. That's how he got his interception week 1 last season. He watched the quarterback on a very soft zone, and then as soon as he knew that the quarterback was getting ready to throw the football, it was a bait. He took off and dove, made the interception at the last moment. Great play by T.J. Carrie. So, but the problem is in a zone defense, kind of like how you saw with the Indianapolis Colts, they would play 10 yards off their receivers and would allow the passes underneath and then come up and make the tackle, which he was good at. He was incredibly good at closing and tackling. Like I said earlier, same thing against run support, He's very good at closing and tackling. But he gave up so much space to the receivers that it was almost a guaranteed catch every time. That's why I like him in the man press, because he can be a physical guy. So I think that what the Colts are going after right now is the same thing Ballard's always went after when it came to cornerbacks. Jetsman45 here on Sportscaster. Thanks for joining the stream. I appreciate you being here. They're going after these tall, long-armed, quick cornerbacks, right, that can play man more often, who can, in a zone, can cover area a little bit better. And I think that is something that's going to be a little bit more impressive, I think, because a lot of these guys are actually better against man press than they are against the soft zone. Now, the reason I think that's a good thing for the Indianapolis Colts is because of what their front seven looks like now. I mean, they already had a really good linebacking core in Okereke and Anthony Walker and Darius Leonard. And then their front, they had Ben Benagu. They had, Justin Houston, Kamoko Toure. They've got guys there with pass rush ability. Danico Autry. They go pick up Sheldon Day. They go pick up DeForest Buckner to make this front seven more of a pass rush type front seven with more athleticism, more ability to get penetration off that offensive line and to make havoc in the backfield, to make a quarterback throw faster. That's actually more of a benefit for a zone, because that way their eyes are on the quarterback at all times. Early on the zone, they're constantly watching the quarterback, and if the quarterback has to make a quick decision, as soon as that arm cocks back to throw, a cornerback who's watching the quarterback can break right where that quarterback is throwing. And then if you're playing man press, you don't have to cover that guy very long either, right? You don't have to cover him 2 or 3 seconds at the most because of the pressure on the quarterback. He has to get rid of that football, and he's going to have to throw really good, tight, on-the-money dimes, or that ball is going to get defensed or intercepted. So these are very good moves, even though these aren't going to be your starters. Between Sheldon Day and T.J. Carrie, these are very good depth moves. Very, very solid moves by Chris Ballard. And I think that the Indianapolis Colts defense is just getting even better. I mean, last year I think they were ranked 11th overall in total defense. They were very, very solid against the run, which I fully expect even more, because when you have a penetrating front seven defense, they're already creating havoc in the run game, not just the pass game, but in the run game, making running backs change direction as soon as they get the handoff. But you got guys like Sheldon Day here, who are very solid against the run on the line. And then you got guys like, TJ right here, who can come up and run support and make solid tackles. So this run D for the Colts will be even that much better, which is a huge benefit because that allows the Colts even more clock management, control the clock, dictate the game the way they did last year. Only even more so this year because of the additions that they have to the defense. I fully expect the Colts defense to be ranked probably top 8, possibly top 5 with the additions that they've had this offseason. And we ain't even got to the draft yet. We haven't even gotten to the draft. Now, the last few seasons we've seen mostly defensive guys being grabbed up in the draft by Chris Ballard. Lucas is here on YouTube. Thanks for joining the stream out on YouTube. Hey man, I see you there. I am sorry that I missed the last stream. I wasn't able to actually watch it. I'm seeing you now. I'm glad that you're joining me here on YouTube. Don't forget, you can check me out on Sportscaster too. That's where most of the people watch me actually. But I'm here on YouTube trying to get my brand kind of thrown over there as well. I'm also doing film rooms for Bring the Juice podcast on YouTube. If you go to Bring the Juice podcast, go to their channel and check out, they just released my DeForest Buckner breakdown. A completely different one than the one I have on my own channel. You check that out. Alright. So, what I'm doing is, I'm sorry But I pretty much went over what I've already talked about and what I needed to talk about. And I really appreciate everybody that's been here. So, if you want to follow me on Twitter or on Instagram, I'm on Colts_Law. On YouTube, it's Lawrence Owen, LAWRENCEOWEN. And, of course, I have a Patreon. You can go check that out, Lawrence Owen Colts Law. But until next time, I really appreciate everybody being here. And perhaps my next breakdowns you'll enjoy a little bit more. I've noticed that I've been getting a little bit more clicks on YouTube on my breakdowns. I'm glad people enjoy them. Please check them out if you haven't already. So until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. This is Colts Law, and I want you to have a good one.